Hi, this is Jorge Ortiz, and this is my DFS video for Lab 8. Now for this lab, we were assigned a task where we needed to connect to the world database provided for us using Java and create a function. Now this function is essentially going to take in a string for a country name and then check the world database to see if that country exists. If it does, provide some basic information about that country, such as population, the capital, and some of the spoken languages. If the country cannot be found, then provide a list of countries that are kind of similarly named. Now, without further ado, let's step into the code. This first part just kind of checks into, just connects to the database and checks to see it's a valid connection. Once we've connected to the database, we store the SQL code into a string. Now, this SQL code is going to just select the population, name, and language from the country, and it's going to get it from the conjoined tables of the country table, the city table, and the country language table. Now, it'll get the data from all of these tables where the country's name is equal to whatever we pass in. Now, and then we're going to execute that SQL code, right? And we're going to store whatever the result of that execution into this result set variable rs. Now, if that is if it returns valid results, then this .next function of the result set class will return true. If it's true, then we know that we did find some valid results, so the country it does exist. If the country does exist, then we can get some data from that. We can extract some data such as the population and the name right away. And we can print that out. Now, for the spoken languages, there could potentially be more than one spoken language. So I have a while loop here, rs.next. So that while that rs.next is true, it will continue to get the next language and print it out. When this is all done, it should print out all of the languages that that they speak in this country. If rs.next up here in this if statement, if it returns false, that means that that whatever was inputted is not a valid country. They did not it did not return, the SQL code did not return a country. I couldn't find it. So in that case, we do an additional search for countries that are named kind of similarly to whatever was inputted and execute that code. Then we're going to print out a message. The country entered is not found, but here are some other names, complementary. And then while rs.next, we're going to print out those names. Then we're going to clean up the environment, and that'll be it. So the test to see if this works, we're going to go over here and right-click countryinfo.java, which is the name of the class and the function. So then we're going to run file, and now I have here entered France, so it's going to check to see if France is an actual name. Or an actual country, my bad. And if it is, then we should see some results. Just thinking here. As you can see here, it connected to the database, created a statement, and gave us, it found something. So it created like the population. Right here is the population of France. Found us the capital, Paris, and then the spoken languages that are here in French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, Turkish, and a nice message goodbye. Now let's give it some invalid results. So let's put something like, let's put FR. Now we know FR is not an actual country. So when we run that, it's going to think, and it's going to see, connecting to database, creating statement. You see the country entered is not found, but below are some countries with similar names. So like the French South Territories, France, French Guiana, and the French Polynesia. So as you can see, when you enter an actual result, an actual country, you're going to actually get some info about it. But if you put something not correct, then you're going to get the name of some countries that you may have met or something that sounds similar. So once again, this is Jorge Ortiz, and thanks for watching.